And we are live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the space. I am more. When you say that, I am more. You see, so many times we walk around with our past like a ball and chain. You walk around with it like it's this burden. But what I want you to recognize is that I am more. I'm more than this. I'm better than this. These things are memories. I choose the path I want my life to go in. Oh, but Angela, that's such fanciful thinking. But you always notice something, right? It may not be fanciful thinking, but it is thinking. And every time we wake up, we must remind ourselves, hey, well, I know the law now. Let me start practicing more. I forgot to do this yesterday. You see, we think that the law is more sometimes a thing to do because where you usually see the law with what? You see it associated with manifestations, getting things. And because it is our human nature to become obsessed with things, instead of walking around and seeing who we are, who we truly are, that place, that state of, oh, I'm this. You know, if you watch the Avatar on Netflix, you're a light bender. You mold and shape things around you. You have that skill. You've been doing it for a very long time. It's just that nobody told you what you were doing. They just let you do it. That's okay. Somebody just let them do it as well. And for their parents, somebody just let them do it as well without the comprehension of what we were doing. So sometimes we walk around and we feel like, I'm not good enough for this. Oh, I'm inadequate. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. Because that's usually what we do. Look around you, you'll see the evidence of it. Because that's what we were taught. But the whole point that I want you to see, if you can learn one thing, you can learn another. Because you were designed to learn. This is why we have to use our skills available. Listen, there is only mental. There is only mental. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. Everything is showing you. Those 6 principles underneath mentalism are showing you why. It's showing you why. It's showing you why and how you create with your mind. That's what it's doing. So when you get up in the morning, marvel at what you are. Because then you don't have to, like I keep telling you, you don't have to focus on manifesting. Oh, I read sometimes in these subreddits, let me tell you. Whoa. My life was worse now that I know how to manifest. I'm like, you're just bringing to the forefront what you always were, what you were conditioned to be. But because we tend to fixate, and we were taught that having this thing will make you better, right? Having this thing will make you better. Doing that thing will make you a better person. This is what we hear all the time. It's what we hear. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. if you know who you are, what you are capable of doing, and the way to figure it out is to practice. You have to use manifestation as a tool to show yourself the law of mentalism, because you are thinking it persistently. And the more you think it, you will see it or experience it. It's not the manifestation you're doing, it is an effect of where your mind is focused. So then once we start to live that way, we remove things like desperation. We remove things like doubt, worry, anxiety. We remove those things naturally. Because what you're doing is you're practicing the law of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. This is what you're practicing all the time. So as you practice, you begin to see what you are capable of doing, molding and shaping. You have to be able to see what you're doing. This is why the evidence, cause, effect, is evidence. But instead, we walk around and we're like, oh, my life sucks without this in it, blah, blah, blah. I had a crummy childhood, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But what do we know? We know that if we keep looking at a thing, we keep molding and shaping our experiences around that thing we are looking at. You're giving it your energy, your attention, or you are making it so. And again, it is not a belittling of what we have experienced. It is not a belittling at all of what we have gone through. But what it does do is shed light on what is happening. This is why sometimes it helps to understand or comprehend what you've gone through and how it has left an impression on your mind that we recreate from. That's why it is helpful to name a thing, as the law of polarity asks you to do. But instead, we name things so we can say, yeah, I've got that. Yeah, I've got that. We label ourselves and say, yeah, well, that's my disorder. I'm neurodivergent. What does that mean? What does it mean? It means you've developed a coping mechanism based on your early programming. So it causes you, because you experienced something, you reacted. Children don't have discernment. And because you reacted to it, there's an impression in your subconscious mind. This is the design of the human. And because that impression is there, that's where you recreate from. Not because you're a bad person, but because it's the design. Impress it, and it reproduces itself. That's it. So now that you know that that's what's happening to you, what choice will you now make? Will you continue to make the choice to keep labeling yourself, oh, I'm that? I am. Sound familiar? I am that. I am. Whatever you claim yourself to be, you begin to behave like it. And then you're treated like it, because you declared it to be so. So when you know that you've gone through neglect, literally speaking, parts of the brain are affected by neglect, abandonment. So when you see what you have developed, your attachment style, when you see what you've developed from that impression in your subconscious mind, now you put it into perspective and you say, all right, I behave like this because of that. Because that's what polarity is asking you. Where are you now and what are you doing? And that's why when polarity says to you, okay, I see where you are and what you're doing. Now, where do you want to go and what do you want to do? Behave like those things now. Why? Because you have to form a new way of being. Neville Goddard tells you what? The old man. You turn water into wine. Then you cannot put that new wine into your old way of being. The old way of being has its own pathway that must be followed. Your habits for the old way of living, the old manifestations. But the new way that you want to be requires new action. You have to behave and speak like the new person you say that you are, because that's what they would do. And why would you do it now instead of doing it later? You do it now because there is only now. Well, how do you know there's only now? How many words can you say at a time? One. There is only now. So what you do now, Gladiator, what we do now echoes in eternity. Cause and effect is what it is. So hear me when I say we have all gone through some things in our lives that up until this point have been running us, causing us to make certain decisions, causing us to behave in the fashion of the old man, causing us to say things like, oh, I cannot. Oh, that is too much for me. Oh, I don't deserve that. All because of the way we were raised back in the day. So we have this coping mechanism, this thing that we do because of the old thing we learned. So now that you say, I want to be a new person, I want to do something different because this old way isn't working. Neville Goddard tells you what? Get inside your imagination. Begin to do it there. But you know as well as I know, things don't stay inside your head. They are projected into the womb. That's why he wants you to do them in your imagination. It is the law of gender. You have to consciously make the decision, masculine. Because once you say, I want, now you have projected it. You have thrust it into the womb of creation. And to get it into the womb, when you say, well, I want that. Okay, I'm making this. And then he says, get an image. That's what you've done. You've projected the image into the subconscious mind. So the image that is there that you are living in and speaking and seeing and hearing within your mind, your imagination, what you are doing is saying, this is the new me. And because you begin to see that within, what's the law of correspondence tell you? As within, so without. But you've got to keep it within until it impresses. So you just keep seeing it in there. Because that's what you're creating, not what you're begging and hoping and pleading for. But we all learn how to beg and plead and supplicate. We call it prayer. Heavenly Father, I come before you today, Lord Jesus, and if it is your will, we learned how to do that. We learned how to beg and plead. There is no one to beg and plead, but there is a subconscious mind that you project into. And when you project into it, it leaves an impression. And from that impression, you live your life. So this is why Neville Goddard tells you your concept of yourself. Who is the one? Who is the person molding and shaping this world that you experience, that I experience on an individual basis? Who is doing that? You better get to know them, because it's you. You are not, in Barbados we call it a sheep stealer, because you walk with your shoulders slumped down and your head down, you're looking at your toes, you don't make eye contact. That's what you walk like. You say, what are you, a sheep stealer? I guess you're ashamed of what you've done, so you don't make eye contact, you look down. For so long, that's how we've lived our lives, from that posture. I want you to think about it. When you see somebody hunched over and their shoulders are down and they don't make eye contact and they mumble when they talk, what do you think of them? It's what they're projecting outward. It is the image they are putting out that causes you to treat them in a particular way. So if that's what you can do, observe someone and then you act according to how they are, what do you think is happening with you? If you walk with your shoulders forward and your head's down and you don't make eye contact, that tells me you've got something to hide, perhaps something you're ashamed of. Or it tells me you're in pain and you're seeking comfort. But either way, whatever's inside of me will respond to what you are projecting. And it's either I will walk past you and not assist because I just don't see it. That's not where I'm at. Or I will see you and want to help you. But again, how I respond is not based on you. It's based upon how I see you. I'm looking at you. It's based on how I see you. The correspondence. So whatever you're projecting outward, somebody's going to be a match to that. So if you're walking around and you're arguing, you're going to meet the person who is ready and got time today to argue. As within, so without. And for so long, we've been convinced that we are just these lowly creatures, lower than the scum on somebody's shoe. We've been convinced that's what we are. But I say no, I'm more. How do you know you're more? I got a feeling. That's how you know you're more. You have an inclination. Then you stop and you say, there's got to be more going on than this. I can't just be eat, sleep, work, repeat. But what is that? The minute you begin to question that, you're slowly beginning to see that you are more. That's what you're seeing. So today, recognize that you are not what happened to you. You responded to what happened to you. Why did you respond? Because your body is a feedback mechanism. So you responded to how you were raised and treated. You responded to that. So if you can respond to one thing, that means you can respond to another. You just have to see the other thing you want to respond to instead. This is why I say we are not limited. But if we believe that we are, well, then we have to be. Because it's your perceptions. It's how you're molding and shaping your world based upon what you see. And what you see is what you've trained yourself to see. You ever been around somebody who says, I'm lucky, huh? I'm lucky. They must have had some kind of evidence to prove that they're lucky for them to cling to it that way. And when you look at their lives, they appear to be lucky. Not because they are lucky, but because that is how they see the world, and that's how they mold and shape their experiences to match. Why? Correspondence. As within, so without. Let me say it again. We respond to how we were raised. It is a feedback mechanism. We respond, and we respond by way of developing a coping mechanism. You're afraid of being beaten, chances are you're going to learn how to lie. And lie real good because you don't want to suffer the pain of the abuse. But now that you're not in that anymore, you see the thing that you learned? To lie, to cope with the thing? You see, we don't look at it that way. We don't look and see what we've developed. We just hear, oh my God, you're such a chronic liar. But we don't see why that developed. So if you see why you developed it, now you can say, you know what? I don't like lying. I just want to tell the truth. And then what do? You start to practice telling the truth. Because look at how long you've lied. Not because you're a bad person, but because you had to survive. You had to cope in your surroundings. So the body responds to the stimuli. It is a feedback loop. So if you see it for what it is, now you can begin to change it. But because we don't see the correlation, we don't see the correspondence between the environment and the way we respond, we begin to think that that's who we are. When in actuality, it's just how we responded to the stimulus. That's all. So when you see it for what it really is, you're like, oh snap, but that's not really me. That's just the way I responded so I could survive, so I could cope. Well, I'm not surviving or coping anymore. I'm actually thriving, so I've got to do something different. Or else I'll always lie. Well, what do you want to do different? I want to tell the truth. So then every day you get up, start to tell it. You tell yourself the truth, and you'll learn. You'll learn by the interactions you have. That's why when you hear the scripture, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. When you hear that, right? When you begin to hear that, you will understand. You'll understand why you do it. And then when you see why you do it, instead of judging it and being mad at yourself, you'll say, oh snap. So that was just a reaction? Well, that's why I always have to hear. That's why you keep doing it. Because you're still living under that thing. You're still molding and shaping your world from that place. You're still the old man. So to be the new man, how would the new you be? How would the truth teller be? I'd feel relief. I'd feel at ease. Okay, well then start to live like the new man, or collapse time and space. Dare I say, this is what they call reality transurfing. Again, fancy names for what simply is polarity. Where are you now and what are you doing? Where would you prefer to be? And what would you prefer to be doing? All right, then let's do those things all day, every day. Because once you start to see the new way of being, you begin to speak it. You begin to act it. Because this is why Neville Goddard says to you, what are your friends going to see when you become this new man? Will begin to see yourself that way. So instead of beginning to see yourself that way, live it too. Because the thought compels you to speak. And the compulsion to speak, well, that compels you to act. And the way you act is the way you'll be treated. Is that not what you want to be treated like the new man, don't you? So then it starts in the mind. It only ever is in the mind. You have to change that so the outside can change, because you and I are shaping and molding it. You don't get fed up of how long it is taking. You stay the course to keep your mind where you say you want it to be, so you can confirm and affirm your new life that you're creating. That's why when we keep living the old way and we keep seeing the same things keep happening to us, that's all you're doing. You're just faithful to that way of being, and you've been faithful to that way of being for a very long time. But it doesn't mean you have to be faithful for just as long in the new direction. No. If that's where you say you are, you will begin to notice that things open up in that direction that you're going in. Let's take a moment. to welcome everyone to the space. Indeed, Lilith, Ruru, I see you here on Twitter. Welcome. I love you. It's Thursday, right? It's the candy. Don't ask because I don't know. It's good to see you here. KZ, Flo Smiles, Miss McQueen, Yolanda, Sola. I see you here on Fanbase. Thank you for the love. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your assistance this morning, my lovely moderators. And where are we now? We are YouTube and Facebook. Well, who's here? A Not is here. A Not, I see you. The Better Man. David, Shea Butter, Ruby, Walter, LCMM is in the house. I see you. So this morning, know that I am more. That's why I named it that. So when you read it, you would have said it to yourself. I am more. You see how easy it is to project something into someone's mind? Just by the way you read it. I am more. I'm more. I am more? Yes, I am more. I want you to think about that when you read. Those of you in law school, now you begin to understand why I say to you, read it out loud. This is how easy it is for someone or anyone else to project into you or project into me, simply by way of what I just read. This is why when you write an affirmation, you write it in the present tense, because words do not return unto you void. I am more. I am better. I am awesome. I am incredible. When you begin to say those things to yourself, somebody hears you. I wonder who's listening. The one with the ears attached to the sides of their head is listening. You are listening. I am listening. So that's why when you speak, what are you speaking? Those are not words, there are vibrations. And depending upon how that sentence was structured, that vibration will influence you. I need you to understand that. So the next time you go out there and you're singing a song, listen to what you're saying. And then comprehend that what you are saying will either free you or bind you. Of course, this is why they tell you words are spells, because you're spelling, you're casting a spell. But listen to it by way of law now. It is the law of gender. What you say with consciously or unconsciously, however you speak, I am more. You just projected that from your conscious mind into the womb of your subconscious mind. You heard it, so it's in there now. More, more, more. I am more. So now when you hear it, you think it doesn't have any effect. But that is not the case. We only hear words because we were programmed to hear words. But we actually feel vibration. And I might know you want to doubt me with that. But remember back when you went into a space and you said, oh, yikes, that don't feel good. The hairs on the back of your neck and your arms stood up and your stomach began to churn. And you said, I've got to get out of here. This does not feel right, is what you said. Well, we don't feel words. We feel a vibration. So this is why I tell you, when you stop to complain and say, uh, when you do that, what are you continually projecting into the womb of your subconscious mind? You must give birth to it. This is why Neville Goddard says to persist in your imaginal act. What is the imaginal act? The image of the new way you want to be. You're telling your body, you're telling your subconscious mind, okay, I am financially free and abundant. And because I'm financially free and abundant, I behave like this. So that you start to behave that way, so your body can form the association between financially abundant and that behavior. Whereas before, the behavior around finances was shoulders slump, kicking the rock, and fear. That's the association with not having. So now you have to have that image to say, okay, well, then I'm going to behave like this. I can't physically touch the money right here, right now, but the behavior is what you want to tell your body. This is how that person behaves. I'm going to have a good posture. I'm going to look people in the eye. I'm going to have a firm handshake. I'm going to develop my confidence. Because wealthy people don't walk around like, no, they walk around like they can buy you. They walk around with the audacity. Well, then you start walking around with the audacity, not the audacity that I can take everything from you. That's not what I'm talking about. That's madness. The audacity of, I am more. I am more. I am bigger. I am better. Not than the other person across from you, than you previously thought you were. That's what we're doing. So I want you to see what's happening around you. The next time you read something, comprehend it first. You just read it. And then you're like, oh, snap. That's what I'm saying to myself. Yeah, but the beat, rhythm is going to get you. That's why the music is as compelling as it is, enticing as it is. Because if it makes you feel good, you start to sing it, you start to dance. And what are you doing? Oh, you're getting it into your subconscious mind. Somebody asked the question the other day, but that's not what's happening. That's not what they're doing. And I'm like, because you don't understand the way the mind works. You don't understand basic programming. So I keep telling you, learn the law and practice the law, because it will help you in so many areas, all areas of your life. And when you manifest something, you are saying to your body, your subconscious mind, hey, I molded and shaped this thing as I said I would. That's what a manifestation is. It's showing you who you are. Why? Because you only ever recreate the self. So if you're recreating situations that beat you up, that's where you're living your life from. So if you don't want to be beat up anymore, metaphorically speaking, in your mind, you've got to change your mind. And when you change your mind, the easiest way to do it is by way of law, the law of polarity. Where are you now and what are you doing? What's got you in a pickle? Look at it, write it down and look at it. Because when you look at it, it will help you to answer the question, where do I want to be and what do I want to be doing? I know it seems corny. I know it seems like you hear it every 30 seconds. But it will make sense to you when you start doing it. You see where you are. I'm doing this. Well, you know what? I want to do that, so I'm going to do this. This is what I'm doing now. This new action. I speak this way. See, because sometimes I get excited, and depending on what I'm trying to say, because certain things have a different effect the way you say them. So sometimes Ebonics works, sometimes my Bajan dialect works, or sometimes the sophistication of a lady works even better. It just depends on what you want to say, at least for me. Right? So you bend and shape yourself every time. That's what you're doing. This is how we do it. But I want you to remember the name of that room. I am more. You see, learning YouTube, learning how to name things, right? How to put your tags in and what you want that thumbnail to, you see, understand what is happening. When you see the image of the thumbnail, your curiosity is piqued in some way. It has to catch your attention. But it doesn't just do that. It projects something into you in order to get you, to grab you, to entice you. But you see, understand what is happening with that image. It is the law of gender. It's now in you. When you hear that thing, you can't unsee it. I read a news byline the other day. I'm not going to talk about it here. I'll just say I read it there, and it had a profound effect on me. Oh my word. When I read that, I was like, I was mad. And I said, I have got to get the law out faster because this is unacceptable. Look at what we're doing to ourselves. After I read that byline, it riled me up so much. I said, I've got to get the law out faster. That's what I said. Just based on that. It impacted me in such a way that it caused me to look for new ways of getting something done. Faster, more effective. I allowed myself to be polarized, but in the direction I wanted to be, because I was looking for the solution. What do I have to do? More exposure. Get out things. Get the law into the ears of people. Why? Because when we know and we live by way of law, we stop hurting each other because we stop hurting ourselves. I want you to see it for what it is. The law, as I said before, is like a balm. If you got a sunburn, aloe vera is your balm. It is soothing. Yeah? So think about it. If you are soothed by way of law from the inside out, well, because there's no raw pain inside of you, you cannot inflict raw pain on the outside of you. This is why you keep seeing and hearing these things, because people are in pain, mental pain, mental anguish. Because we keep seeing the same things, we keep hearing the same things, we keep saying and feeling the same things, and we feel we are stuck and we can't change. And because we feel that way, I want you to understand what that feels like. It is torture. Now do you understand how important it is for you to assess what the hell is going on in your mind? coming at you hard today. I'm coming in hot. Sorry. I have to lighten that up a little bit. There is only ever mental anguish. Why? Because the universe is a mental creation. So if you start to see it for what it is, then now you begin to say, all right, I can change. I'm telling you that you can. It's not magic. I'm telling you that you can. How do you know that you can? You can do a new behavior. You can do a new behavior. You can think a new way. So if you can think a new way and behave a new way, you create a new way of being. But somebody said, this is your lot in life. Just deal with it. Just grin and bear it. That's what you've heard. And I'm here telling you, lies. It is a lie. Well, Angela, if it's a lie, why does my life still suck? Because our design is to fixate. So I'm telling you to put your attention on where you say you want to be and the activities or actions that you want to be doing. And if you can't do those actions here right now in that instant, you can do the attitude of it. Because the attitude will confirm to your body, hey, you want to behave like this? Let me give you opportunities in which you can behave like this. You just got to lean in and do it. I'm preaching to the choir. Don't think for a moment that the hills are alive and I'm twirling in the Alps like Heidi with pigtails. I'm telling it to you because I comprehend it and I apply it and I see the changes that happen day in and day out. So today we don't walk around as if we are sheep stealers. We walk around as if we are kings and queens of our universes. Because you are. I'm sitting here telling you, you mold and shape your existence. But if you are not molding and shaping your existence, you will bend to the what? Molded and shaped existence of someone else. You know this? Children, when they're really teeny tiny, they bend to us. They bend because they do what we ask. Or they do what we tell them to do. Until such time, they can do it for themselves. They can think for themselves. That. So then if it works there, bring it up to you now. You do the same. Until you know better. Somebody molded and shaped. But now you are in control to mold and shape. So have some boldness when you do it. You know why boldness? I'm sorry, you ever seen a king cower before? Not Solomon, I'll tell you that. It doesn't even matter how vile that king may be. It doesn't even matter. They still walk as if they are. They don't cower. So you now knowing what you know, why should you cower? You are bending and shaping your own existence. You have to be bold for that. You can't just poke that little light stream and go, hey, I don't know what I want to make you in today. No, pick it up and shape it. Anyway, I know some of y'all thinking, these nuts, I'm crazy, but what have you got to gain? You won't know till you practice and you gain it. You will gain the evidence of your skill, of your moreness. That's what you'll gain. Anywho, countdown initiated. You all know where you can find me. Over here on YouTube to get the last remnants of gravy from the bowl. 5, 4, 3, Twitter, Lilith, Jeff, Ruru, Indy, I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. It is appreciated, you know, your time. But most importantly, I want you to develop that boldness. There's a difference between boldness and... I want you to think about it. The next time you say, but won't that be arrogant? Won't I hurt somebody else? What is your intention? Is your intention to hurt, or is your intention to be bold and to be confident in yourself? What is your intention? Well, then, if that is your intention to be bold and confident in yourself, you won't be hurting anybody. How do you know? As within, so without. So today, you don't say anymore, but what if they think I'm arrogant? Is arrogance within? Well, then you cannot be it on the outside. So be bold. Be confident. Be sure of the law. Be sure of the law. Well, it's never failed you yet. For how many billions of years? Exactly. So you know you can have faith and confidence in that. Well, then, as above, so below. You have faith and confidence in the law. Well, then faith and confidence in oneself. Huh? Fancy that. Anywho, Twitter, I love you. And I will see you on tomorrow. Much love, Twitter. Twitter is closed. Fanbase, KZ, Flo, Smiles, Miss McQueen, Yolanda, Zola. I see you. Thank you all for being here this morning, and it is a lovely day. Remember, I am more. Indeed I am. See, you just said it, didn't you? Oh, you just projected that into your subconscious mind. You'll start to behave as if you are more. Well, you have to confirm it. Yes, I love you, and I will see you soon. Fanbase is closed. It is. Now let me pop into the chat here for YouTube. There's a comment there that I haven't seen yet. Let's see. Elsie, you have a great day too. AK Frame, Cynthia and Olivia. Hey, hey, I see you. Yeah. So, remember that I am more. I am more. There's a level of sophistication you must adopt for that. I am more. You are. You are absolutely fantastic. Incredible. Awesome. You're excellent. But don't take my word for it. What does the law tell you that you are? The law says, as within, so without. So if the law is saying to you, as within, so without, well, then what will you put within you? You put within you what you want to experience on the outside. And that means you're planting the type of seed based upon the harvest you want to bring in. Jamaica, Sugar Visions, I see you. I trust that it makes sense to you today. I do. I trust it makes sense. Because so many of us are walking around so heavy. But you need not be heavy. You don't need to be. What do you want? Lightness? Freedom? Then begin to behave like it. Begin to practice being more and more confident. Because remember, the more you practice, the only outcome for you is to become the best at what you practice. That is guaranteed. Practice, and you become the best at that thing you practice. It's inevitable. You can't fail because you're not trying. You are practicing. You are practicing. The more you do it, the better you become. That goes for anything. Tying your laces, learning how to braid your hair, learning how to sew, learning how to dance. The more you practice, the better you become. So success is your only way. You don't have to worry and fret about, oh no, just practice. Just practice. Everything is all right. Practice. See? That takes away so much stress to know that you have what it takes. You see, what was meant to be harmful, what was meant to be harmful, if you see that, you turn it around to be of a benefit to you. Turn it to be a benefit. Transmute it. Change it from one shape to the next. You know, they tell you turn lead into gold. That's alchemy. You want to transmute it. Take it from one form to another. Well then, the ability that the human form has, it is easily programmed and it takes direction without doubt. That's its design. So if you know that that's the design, well then, give it. This is why you imagine. You give yourself the new behavior and it will accept it. It's not going to judge you. It'll simply accept what you practice as fact. So do you see how easy it is? Right? See how easy it is? Don't look at the fact that we could be programmed for bad things. Look at the fact that we are easily programmed and use it to your benefit. To easily program yourself. That's what we do. It's why we go to school. You learn how to read. If you can learn how to read, you can learn how to do anything. If you can learn one thing, you can learn many things. Because you have the capacity to learn. So use the capacity to learn to teach yourself what you want to learn. Because whatever you learn is going to influence your life because you will behave in that fashion. That's what it is. I trust it makes sense. And you still have time to sign up for law school. You sure do. You sure do. You have time. You have time. So I'll leave you with that this morning, my beautiful friends. I am more because you are. Begin to see it. When you look in the mirror and you look in your own eyes, see the beauty that is within you. not what somebody. Remember, if somebody's going to come along and go, loser, your colors don't even match. If they're going to do that to you, that's because that's what's inside of them. They're being insulted, so they have to insult. It's in them. But you don't have to accept that. See it for what it is. Oh, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. As within, so without. You can only spew forth what is within you. That's, if you see that, then you will not be insulted by someone's words, because you'll understand where they're coming from. And you'll say, ah, it is my words that I speak into my own self that matter most. And that's why you spend your time only speaking good things to yourself. What does that scripture say? Is it Philippians 4:7? Whatever is good, whatever is true, whatever is honest, whatever is of a good report, think on these things. That's what it says. Why would you want to think on those things? Because when you think, you are projecting from your conscious mind into your subconscious mind. So you're going to have all these thought babies. This is what you're doing. That's what you're doing. So that's why you think on the good things. You put good things in, good things have to come out. Just like if you plant chives, you're not going to get a raspberry bush. You can only get chives. As within, so without. With that, my beautiful friends, I leave you today. Practice. Practice your greatness. Practice. This is why we have fun with it. You don't have to be happy all day, every day. It has nothing to do with being happy. Happy is just a reaction. What you want to walk in all day, every day is the truth that the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. As within, so without. As above, so below. Everything vibrates between two poles, a swing to and fro, creating a rhythm, an ebb, and a flow. Because every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause, a projection of the will, masculine, giving life, giving form, feminine. I leave you with that, my beautiful friends. That's what you walk around knowing all day, every day. Then it is irrelevant if one is angry. You will see why you're angry, and you will transmute the anger into something else. Because you will take all available sources of energy to mold and shape yourself. Nothing will go to waste. It is a good way. I love you all. And I'll see you soon. And if you want to learn how to use the law, my link tree is in the description below. Sign up for law school. And that would be KZ, Sugar Visions, LC, MK, Frame, Cynthia, and Olivia, Walter, Ruby, Shea, Butter, David, The Better Man, Enoch. I missed a Sonia this morning, Empress Ella, Sinovia, Brian, Bree, Nancy, Amina, the replay gang. Much love, everyone. Much love.